An issue that can be a pretty significant safety risk. It's called swatting. It happened Monday afternoon in this neighborhood near Katy. Someone called 911 saying a man shot his wife in the head, but when first responders arrived, they found nothing. Joining me now is Brian Buccini, a SWAT officer with Harris County Sheriff's Office. Brian, thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate your time, sir.
No problem. Thank you, sir.
In case, yeah, absolutely. In case anyone in our audience is not familiar with this term, what is swatting?
So swatting is basically the action of making a prank call to emergency services in an attempt to bring out a large law enforcement response to a particular address, just like the one yesterday.
Obviously, this creates problems. What types of problems can this create for first responders, for law enforcement officers trying to find this emergency?
Well, for first responders alone, one of the biggest is going to be accidents. So when priority one calls drop that are life pressing or in progress calls, usually officers are responding with lights and sirens on. When something like this occurs, people in traffic kind of behave erratically. Sometimes they don't know what to do, go left, go right, and stuff like that. So it can cause a lot of confusion for the general public as well. But law enforcement officers tend to get in accidents during any type of scenarios. And so that makes it kind of critical to respond to these in a safe manner.
Yeah, very critical. Yeah.
One of the other things is like the enormous resources that are allocated to these types of events actually draw away from critical services, and they're not available for the rest of the general public during these events.
I understand you were on standby to respond to this event yesterday. You were monitoring radio traffic. At what point did officers realize this was in fact a prank?
Well, our patrol officers did a really good job. It's not uncommon for me to get text messages or phone calls out there in the districts when things are going on that are in progress. I watched it and monitored it, listened to it, saw the call slips, and the officers did a great job getting out there, getting resources there quickly, setting up a perimeter, and then making contact with the occupants inside the residence in a safe manner, mind you. With something like that, it was a kind of an important deal. Once they were able to make contact with the residents inside and determine that everybody was safe and okay, and that it was a prank call, we were able to kind of downgrade it, put everybody back in service, and go about our business from there.
Were the people?
It was a prank call.
Were the people aware that they were part of a prank call scheme?
Yeah, I spoke with some of the officers that were on scene yesterday, some of the supervisors, and people inside the residence had no idea that they were part of a prank. Had no reason to believe that they would be part of a hoax. There was no threats made to the family or anything like that. So it's kind of a random deal, and it's still up for investigation right now.
Do we know, as this investigation is ongoing, do we know who made this call yesterday?
Now, as of yesterday, and I can't get into the ongoing investigation, but as of yesterday, I know the call came in as an anonymous caller, but we have resources, we have analysts and people like that are able to go back and check and look into that. We have technology available to us this day and age to be able to identify those phone calls.
You know, throughout the past few years, we've heard a lot of stories or stories involving teenagers involved in swatting incidents, swatting situations. What do you want parents to know about repercussions? What do you want these teenagers to know?
I just want parents and teenagers and also adults. I mean, adults are responsible for making a lot of these types of calls across the country. Just know that there are criminal penalties and civil liabilities that go along with things like this. In Texas alone, we have 4206, which basically states that anybody that's making a false report to induce an emergency response, that's a Class A misdemeanor here in the state of Texas. And then also you got to look at the fact that responding to these calls and also showing up to these calls, these citizens don't know that these police officers are called, and they don't know sometimes that someone's breaching their door, or the citizens come outside because they hear people on their property. You never know. If somebody gets hurt or injured, these charges are going to get enhanced to felony charges. And our DA's office here in Harris County has been very aggressive at enhancing these charges, as well as filing these original charges. So I just want parents to know, be aware of what your kids are doing, especially when it comes to online gaming and stuff like that. Threats to schools, threats to people. This swatting in general, it's not funny. It gets people hurt at the end of the day. Whether it's financial resources, mental anguish, or just physical injuries from getting in car accidents or having a heart attack when police show up at your door with a SWAT team. Just know that there are real consequences for these type of things, and please stay on top of your children. Listen to your friends. Guys, if you see something, you hear about someone doing something, say something about it. Make a report.
Yeah, very serious. Nothing funny about this at all. Brian Buccini, thank you very much for your time this morning.
No problem. Thank you, sir. You have a great day.
You too.